Hey y'all, welcome to Peach Ties. I'm your host, Morgan Faith Harrell, and founder of Aesthetics. For my next guest today, he's from Chicago, Illinois, and he is one of the biggest sensations on Wild 'N Out. He's a comedian, philanthropist, and entrepreneur. Please welcome to my show, Cortez Macklin!
Yeah! What's up, Peach Ties? Yeah, we here. What's going on, Morgan?
You are so funny.
I appreciate that, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your time. Do you know how we first met?
We met at the Cricket Bowl.
Yes.
The Cricket Bowl. I don't know anything about football, but that's why I remember seeing a beautiful face like yours at.
Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. We had such a good time. We also met Quincy. And I would just say, I've met so many different kinds of people over the years. You have a humble confidence.
I appreciate that.
You're very welcome because, it's like some people use the term humble as a very negative term, but I feel like you have the balance between confidence and humbleness. It's a great combination. Is that definitely what you have?
I appreciate that. It's 50-50. 50% of it could be a good thing. The other 50% could be a bad thing. I think humble is diluting of yourself to make others feel good sometimes. But I just, I make sure I treat everybody how I want to be treated, and I walk in the presence of, what my higher power taught me.
My gosh, dude, I'm telling you, when I first saw your face, does anyone tell you Ricky Smiley?
Ricky Smiley. Yep.
It's very uncanny. You look just
like Lil Daryl. Like Lil
Daryl. With the glasses.
Yep. I get that a lot. Ricky Smiley, Jordan from the Bernie Mac Show, Lemmy Plummer from the Zeus Network. I get that a lot.
You should definitely there should be a show just on Lil Daryl itself.
You know what? I've been trying to get in contact with Ricky Smiley. We had him on one episode a while now, and we did discuss that. Hey, man, I would love to play your son in a sitcom or a show. I did speak to him recently, and we were supposed to be doing a skit together where I play Little Daryl getting married. Little Daryl gets married to a white woman, which is so crazy. So hopefully that takes place soon.
We would definitely manifest it to existence. So with some of the funniest people, when I analyze them, I feel like they grew up in a very traumatic household. Was that for you? Did you grow up kind of like a misfit?
An outcast for sure. When it came to school, definitely. But I actually grew up in a foster home. So my mom had 12 siblings, so it was a lot of us. So I wouldn't say a misfit per se, but I would just say, just like an oddball, a class clown more so.
And I didn't know that you're adopted.
Yeah, so my mom adopted me and my twin brother from birth. She also had 10 other foster children as well, and then she had 2 of them of her own.
Wow, so you're a twin.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So
Cortez and Martez.
So who's the funnier one?
I'm the funnier one. He's the more serious one. He has the tall and the muscle because he picks up the weight. And I have the quirkiness jokesters because I picked up the pencil.
That's interesting. So I know you're very verbal. You've spoken out being adopted due to your biological parents struggling from drug abuse. Have you ever used that type of as motivation for your comedic material at all?
Nope. But I'm sure it'd make me funnier because crackheads is funny. Crackheads do funny stuff. Just hilarious stuff. I think when you're off for any type of narcotic or whatever the case may be, you can just use it to the best to make it better or run away from your problems. And, my mom decided to use it for both. So
growing up in Chicago, how was that growing up? With
Chicago was dope, man. We got pizza puffs and we drink pop and we go to Beggar's Pizza and Italian Fiesta and Nancy's. We got White Castles. We got Harold's. Shout out to Harold's. That's one of the best chicken spots up north. But Chicago is awesome. The people are beautiful. The town's great. It's cold all year round.
Really?
It's not supposed to be. People say it gets hot in the summertime, but I don't think that. Maybe because I'm underweight and always cold, but it's cold out there.
So growing up in that environment, you tried different things as a kid. And then at age 14, you started to fall in love with comedy at the Fat Comedy Club where you met Quincy. So is that when you first got the bite of comedy?
Yeah, so my mom was actually looking for things to do on Facebook, and she ran across this program called Fats Kids Comedy, which was a kids comedy show. So Quincy, who was actually the star of House of Pain, and he works with Tyler Perry, who was a actor at the time, and still is prominent actually. He was a mentor and an acting coach. So he gets these kids together, and he does Fat Kids Comedy, which is an acting and improv class. And he did this show one day, and my mom took me out there, and I was like, yo, Mom, I think I want to do that. And she was like, just go up there on stage and ask him. So I went, I'm like, yo, I think I want to be a part of this program. Can I do it? And then we did rehearsals every Saturday where he would teach us acting and public speaking and different improv games. And then I was one of the first kids in this program that actually got to do stand-up comedy that following week. So most of the time, it's like 4 Saturdays, just techniques, different acting, and then one big comedy showcase where we get to perform. I think I ended up finding Fat Kids Comedy the second to last week, right before their showcase. So I was actually very quick on my feet when it came to the acting and improv and the stand-up comedy.
So definitely have motivated to be the person that you are today. Definitely seeing the basically the potential where you want to be when you grow up. So that's really beautiful to hear that from your story. And like, I just want to ask, like, being on stage, is that like a form for comedians, a form of therapy when you're expressing your thoughts on stage? Does it give you a therapeutic touch?
Absolutely. For me personally, I think I'm like a social weirdo. I'm very awkward. So I like to do stand-up because when I get on stage, when I do my thing, I kill it. And then I automatically know someone's going to walk up to me and say, oh my God, that was so funny. How long you been doing it? And I can take my conversation from there. But a lot of comedians also treat it as a therapy, like you said, where they like to make people laugh because they're going through things internally. And, happiness is, it's a very important thing for people. I like to make people feel good and laugh regardless of what I'm going through because that's what makes me happy. So a lot of comedians do struggle with depression and anxiety. So they get on stage and they tell their truth to make you guys laugh because they feel like that's what makes them happy. But it doesn't always make them happy on the inside. Thankfully, it makes me feel awesome.
And with mental health itself, I know a lot of men don't really express how they feel with like mental health. So how do you cope like on certain days when, you just need to debunk from reality and technology?
I watch toxic TV. I watch toxic TV, but most importantly, I count my blessings. I try to wake up and I say, look, you may not be where you want to be because your time's coming, but that's one of the things that the Bible talks about. Jeremiah 29:11 states, it says, like NIV version at least, it says, your plans is not going according to because God have bigger and better plans for you in the long run. So I try to count my blessings. I wake up and I say, look, I'm breathing, I'm eating, my bills is paid, I don't have cancer, I don't have anything. And that's one thing that I do personally to get myself through whatever it is that I'm going through. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a beautiful way for people to be able to, just express themselves and deal with their mental health and their depression and anxiety. Try to count your blessings. Obviously, you're going to hear the cliche answers, go for a walk in the park, do something that makes you happy, watch a movie. But that's just one of the ways that I deal with mine.
I respect that so much. And like, it's so beautiful to hear about humble beginnings and like so much of your resilience before like wilding out. So with the process, it's like some shows, the judges are not really in the room, but Nick Cannon was actually in the room and you got called back on the same day. So please walk through the process of the before and after.
Hey, look at Morgan. Like, what, you read a book about me or something?
Just did my research,
Most of the time, I've done 2-3 podcasts ever. And it's always like, so what age did you start doing it? She's talking to me about stuff like, what website is this on? What? No, so originally I was doing stand-up comedy at 14 years old at the Atlanta Comedy Theater. Shout out to Benny Pitts, who was the guy who hosted open mic, and Daryl, by the way. But I wasn't old enough to perform at that club. So whenever I bombed, they actually made me clean up. I would have to stay and clean up because I wasn't old enough. I did that for 4 years straight.
What?
And then one day I received a phone call from one of the owners of the comedy club, and he was like, yo, man, I got this surprise for you. So I'm like, what is it, bro? It's not. He's like, yo, come down to the club. And I was staying in Covington, Georgia at the time. I'm like, yo, it's not open mic day. It's going to take me 2 trains and a bus to get out that way. And he's like, yo, just come down. I go down. He asked me if I want to do the workshops or if I want to just audition, because it's 2 different boot camps to Wild 'N Out auditions. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what it was at the time, though. So I'm like, I'll just audition. And I go in there, and Nick Cannon's actually in there. DJ D-Rex actually in there. Now Evans, the producer, Annie Giles, they're actually in there, which is crazy, because I did America's Got Talent. You audition, you don't see those guys. Mm-hmm. I auditioned for Showtime at the Apollo. You don't see those guys when you audition for a lot of those shows. So I knew that they didn't have my information. Like, I knew, like, okay, this is an unexpected blessing, but just try to take it as such. So they're looking for my paperwork. And I'm like, well, why y'all wait? My name Cortez. What you need for me to do, y'all? And then my audition just took off from there. I did 3 minutes of stand-up comedy. I got the freestyle rap. And I had to do a Let Me Holla. I used the microphone stand as a Wild 'N Out girl. And then I got my call back that same day, as you know. And then when I did the callback, it was very cool because we just did Wild Style. And that was it. And, you know, I'm not going to lie. I never told the story before, but I was fanned out when I saw Nick. So me and my best friend actually auditioned for the show. And I was like, hey, man, we got to stay. We got to stay outside. We got to wait. I got to get this picture. I got this picture. And Nick comes out there. He was like, you wanted the picture, huh, Cortez? And I was like, if you got time. And he was like, don't worry about the picture, man. I'm going to be seeing a lot more of you. And then he jumped in this black Escalade and took off. Didn't give me the picture. But that right there was when I kind of like knew, like, all right, bet, say that. So it was dope.
Wow. And the rest is history.
The rest is history, man. They put you in a hotel for like a month. You wake up every day, you go down to this lobby, and you're just telling jokes for the cameras and Nick and a bunch of white people. And it was so tough because it was very elimination style. So if you don't do good at the workshops, which is 2 to 3 weeks, they would come and knock on your hotel door and say, hey, man, very funny comedian, but your Wild 'N Out journey has come to the end. You got to check out tomorrow. So I never took my clothes out of my suitcase ever.
You always had that suitcase packed.
Man, I was like, my suitcase packed. Y'all ain't about to let me down. Right. Y'all ain't about to, you know what I'm saying? And I always had that peephole open. I want to see who's walking down my hallway. But no, they never came. And then the good thing about it is the last 2 to 3 days of workshops, I think it's wardrobe day. You take a tour of where you'll be filming at. And then you actually get to, meet the cast. Because the cast actually comes the last 2 to 3 days of workshops. The vets, DC, Justina, they all come towards the end.
Wow. And like before this, so for 4 years, different moments of where you bombed, you had to sweep the floors. So you were like in the waiting season.
I didn't know that.
Like, wow.
I didn't know I wanted to be famous. I knew I was doing something that I felt like I was good at, but I didn't know where it would take me.
Wow. Because there's a lot of people right now who are maybe in a different situation to where, they're just waiting. They're waiting to be called, right? So like, what can you tell with different people if they want to be a comedian or a different type of artist? Like, what can you tell them about how they can keep the faith during that waiting season? I
would say start young and don't wait. Just keep doing it. Say yes to as much things as possible. You never really know. But the biggest crime a person can commit to themselves is to wait. So while you're young with no kids and no financial, struggles, just do it. Do everything, man. Take over the world.
Team no kids. 21
with no kids.
Oh my goodness. And like, I feel like it's 2025 now. And like, the world's off. It's crunk, it's us off to a different start. It's very
Trump.
crunk.
It's crunk Trump.
Oh my God.
It's Trump crunk. It's something. The world right now is off a perk. Perk 30 to be specific.
And like, of course, you see like Netflix, different comedians have their own Netflix specials. And you see like over the years, even like during Twitter or even like below like the surface, like, do you feel like comedians are acquitted from being canceled when they talk about different controversies?
I think comedians, being a comedian is the only freedom of speech we have left. I think that's why we're at risk for being canceled. Obviously, you can't get on television and just say anything. I can't get on the podcast and just say anything. I can't get on the radio and just say anything because everybody's held liable for something. So I think for us to be able to get on stage and just say something that we wrote and people to be able to laugh, I think that's why comedians are the highest at risk for being canceled because everybody else cancel you. Before you do a radio interview, they're going to tell you what you can and can't say. You can't curse. You can't do this. And then when it comes to stand-up comedy, it's our jobs to help you laugh at your pain. But that's really the gist of it. I'm supposed to help you laugh to get through your darkest time of your laughter. And I think people just want to find different ways to deal with that pain and that darkness outside of me just making fun of your disability or the loss of a parent or your addiction or your insecurities. People don't like that.
When I was like, I sit down and I watch through different episodes, right? And literally, like when I watch you, like if I laugh out loud where I'm spitting like water out my mouth, like that means like you're really like really, 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 really funny. So you are like I'm being very unbiased. Like you are very naturally funny.
Oh,
like,
appreciate that.
Yes, you're very welcome.
I just thought I was funny looking.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, thank you. Appreciate that. See? Hey, y'all need to come on this podcast. You're going to receive some good compliments.
Great compliments. I always be honest when I talk to people. And so like when you're on like your stage presence, I just feel like I feel your energy. So like when you were working with Kenan Thompson, he talked to you about using your star power to your authentic ability. So tell me about that experience of working with Mr. Thompson.
Yeah, Kenan Thompson is a great guy, super humble. He was shocked by how quiet I was. And he said, man, don't let being starstruck and nervous stop you from networking. I look at you as a rock star. So don't look at yourself as less than, because rock stars only want to work with rock stars. Don't wait till you falling off or not popping to not say, pitch, or ask those questions, pitch those ideas. Hey, build those collaborations, because rock stars only want to work with rock stars. And if you treat yourself like you're a local, so will the rock stars. And they don't look down or back. They look forward. And then he told me, a lot of rock stars, or just higher levels, right? A lot of famous people put money into the youth and put money into they go back and they show love. But that's because they want those people to be able to get where they're at. But it's very hard for someone who has everything to want to work with someone who has nothing, because everyone's looking to gain from each other. It wouldn't really be a fair collaboration. But he definitely highlighted that people who are not up yet are the most slept on. But that's just a society thing, People, because you don't have 12 views, don't mean you don't have potential to make a $12 million idea. It's just you're not there yet. But don't move like you got 12 views. If it's only 3 people at your show, perform like it's 3,000 people at your show. So he just kind of highlighted me with that, and he reminded me that how great I was and how funny I was. And just when I walk in the room, have my head up. Don't be in my phone looking at my notes. Don't be nervous. Don't be oh my God, I look up to you. Because I was at shows telling celebrities like, oh my God, I'm a fan of you and I look up to you. And that's cool and that's dope. And they value that. But definitely have that energy times 10 when it comes to your craft, your talent, and yourself as well. Shout out to Kenan Thompson for that jewel there.
Shout out to him. And with different shows like Saturday Night Live, when I over like the 90s, arguably for me, my favorite comedian is Martin Lawrence.
Ooh.
Very funny. Like Martin, the show itself was like ahead of its time. And like the way like how authentically people were just, bouncing off each other in improv and shows. So for you, give me your top 3 comedians.
Ooh. Comedian Mount Rushmore. All right, let's go Dave Chappelle. Just because he's classic. Still doing his thing. Classic.
Yes.
Let's go Kevin Hart, because he's up to date. Classic too. Yeah, got some classic movies. And I need a female. I want to make sure I get her name right. Nikki Grouser. She know who she is, but she dominated and was the only female on the roast of Tom Brady.
Yes.
She's the only female comedian that got a standing ovation. So shout out to Nikki Grouser. But there's a lot of dope comedians. I think everyone's bound for comedic greatness. And I think everyone deserves their flowers.
Absolutely. And now you see like everyone is like on their phones with TikTok. Do you think it's harder for a comedian to break into the industry social media wise than before with the phones?
I think doing something funny and being funny is 2 different things. I've seen a lot of influencers bomb trying to do stand-up comedy because they expect for that audience online to come and support them live, and they don't. But I've also seen a lot of comedians such as myself go tap in and practice versatility and go back to streaming and TikToks and just trying to do both. So I definitely think there's a difference between online comedy and, doing stand-up live, but I think everybody has their niche and just their foundation. And comedy's evolving. So sometimes, like me, I'm going to take a step back to go and do streams and YouTube and tap into that. That way I can get seen. Because, I think the younger generation has a lot to offer. And I want to learn from them.
Right. And I have a really good question. So with I feel like some comedians, do you feel that, let's just say if they're hired to do a certain opportunity, but you can't say X, Y, and Z because it will get that person offended. Do you feel like that person is really trying to be funny, or they're just trying to save themselves from the controversy?
It depends. The higher you go in the industry, the more you the higher you go in the industry, the more you decide to cater and or kiss Peach. The higher you move in the industry, the more I see people kiss Peach. I do. But at the same time, you're going to do what's best for you. And we have our different audiences that we cater to, but at the same time, you got to be willing to practice versatility and cater to people's emotions. I think we're all human beings. So I can't say it's okay for me to make fun of you because I have freedom of speech. And I can't say it's okay for me to say what I want because I'm just trying to make people laugh. I still have to be a human being and respect how you feel on the inside. So it all depends on how, what a person's coming from with it. I joke with people all the time, but I joke with people who's comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also express to people like, look, I'm coming from a place of love. Some people can joke on you coming from a place of hate. You just got to know the difference. I'm not going to use your insecurities as a way to get views and money. I'm not the type of comedian. Mm-hmm. But you do have comedians that crack jokes on behalf of people that's disabled or fat because they feel like there's more money in that area because they feel like people weren't going to laugh, at you. So you got some bullies out here.
Right.
You got some bullies out here.
And with the levels of jokes, do you do you have your worst joke ever?
I'm not going to say the worst joke ever because I think it's going to get even worse. But I did a joke. So my mom passed away, right? And me and my mom's sense of humor was through the roof. And I did a joke on stage where I was like, hey, my mom's favorite drink was Red Bull. And then the crowd was like, really? And I'm like, yeah, but that's not how she got her wings. It was COVID. And the crowd went stupid silent. They did not laugh at that. And I'm like, okay, but people respect the idea of whoa, this kid's on stage talking about his dead mom. And I'm like, well, I'm comfortable and I laugh at my pain and I laugh at my trials and tribulations, but that's just how me and my mom joke around. Mm-hmm. That joke did not go over. And what was crazy is I had another joke where I said, I didn't realize how big my mom was until she was in the casket. She was dead weight. Super heavy. I did a joke about how I didn't like her outfit. Like, oh, if my mom was alive, she would tell you how to take this wig off of her. So it was a lot of jokes that I've made, and I'm learning to write better. Some stuff may not be funny, and some stuff may be too dark, but some stuff also may make people feel uncomfortable. But if I'm able to laugh at my truth and my pain, I expect people to do the same, and that's not always the case. Mm-hmm. So those jokes may not be funny to people, but at the same time, that doesn't mean it's not nothing there or it can't be touched up or punched up or altered. So my mom thought that was funny. Nah, sorry.
That is okay. I love your honesty. And every chapter of your book is very beautiful. And, there's a chapter in someone's life right now to where, they may be depressed or extremely happy as different humans had different emotions for different days on this world. Yeah, so what is advice that you would give someone right now about happiness?
Happiness is what you make it. Happiness is what you make it. There's no such thing as an American dream. I don't know why they teach that in history class. Dreams are meant to be a reality. So for us to limit it to an American dream, even though everyone's not American, it's crazy. So happiness is what you make it. Live within your truth. Do what makes you happy. And my advice to anyone who's dealing with something, trying to get to the top, or just pursuing entertainment in general, podcasting or whatever it is my advice to you is it takes years to get to the top, but it only takes 1 second to say I quit. So don't.
Do not quit, you guys.
Yeah.
And you do not know who's watching you. You'd never know. You can be going live on something. Like with Cricket Wireless, we did Cricket Bowl together.
Yeah.
I did my podcast on my own. I never knew Cricket Wireless was watching any of my podcasts at all. So when they reached out to me to do commercial work for all of their national social media pages, I was shocked.
That's dope.
So I just that's very good advice. Keep being yourself, and you do not know who is watching you. And being yourself, it's so cliche, but I'm telling you, I think being yourself is just the best way to be, because why would you be someone that you're not?
If you decide to change yourself, you're altering your journey. And I've seen a lot of entertainers do that. Don't let somebody come and tell you it should be like this or it shouldn't be like this, because you can be turning an overnight idea into a 10-year journey on accident just because you failed to stick to what it is that you know. It's okay to practice versatility, but don't be something you're not.
Absolutely. And what I love about your work with philanthropy, that you also give to charity nonprofits such as I. And what I really love is our work that we do with KEEP, which is the Kids education entertainment program. And what we do is we teach them confidence skills, improving, podcast introduction class, so we can set them up for happiness and success in the entertainment industry. And if you want to sign up your kid today, it's for the kids under the ages of 18, and you can sign them up today at keep.org/live. If you sign up today, you can get your free DoorDash gift card. Yes. So you had a good time today, Cortez?
I did. Thank you so much for having me. This podcast is awesome. I can knock it off my to-do list, my vision board. Be a part of Peach Size Podcast. It's pretty dope. And I'm excited to for the next one. Yes,
absolutely. And two, I always give guest gifts.
Oh, God. I heard Morgan is a gift giver.
Oh, my goodness. I just want to give you
Is it free? Ooh, it's free. Hey, I'm one of those. Okay, say that. Hey, pencils. Yeah, I'm going to go through it live. Yeah. Oh, I got some. Forget that. I got some food up in here. Forget the important stuff. Skip straight to the food. Okay, Pringo, man. Hey, funny joke. He was actually buried inside of a Pringo can.
For real?
Yeah, that was his request. The owner of the Pringo guy who passed away, his request was to put his ashes inside of a Pringo can and set it on his tombstone. I'm so serious. You guys can Google this. He was that dedicated to his craft. So you have to be dedicated to your craft, man. Shouts out to
you.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun fact.
Wow, I just learned something new today. Wow. Yeah. You can watch Cortez and all the different episodes of Wild and Out on the different platforms. We had a great time today, and I cannot wait to see you guys for our next guest. Remember, be kind, be sweet, and it's always good to be a Georgia Peach. Bye-bye.